Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CIL Season 2. I am your host, Lichgrave. Today, I will be running a solo for now. Uh, I have a couple of casters potentially on their way, but if not, it's just me today. So, gonna be stuck with each other for the next hour or so. We have two very good teams for you today. We've got Sotoras and Rizzards of Oz. Oz being their debut match. CIL. So we're hoping to see some very interesting games today. And just waiting on the players to get in, and we're gonna start the pick ban the maps. See what the choices are. Let me go ahead and start picking and banning maps. I am. Team Craze, yes. Thank you, sir. Yes, he does indeed have the role now. Alrighty, we get them in here. Guys, it's going.
Screen shares
Uh,
so we don't have stream delay.
Yes, I am. Yeah, one.
Cool.
We're sorry, folks. We're just background stuff. Let me.
Alrighty.
Okay, so I have my casters today. I have TM Craze and TSG, gentlemen.
I mean, TSG, you want to go first? Because you didn't
I'll
actually get
take
to
it
do
away.
yours.
All right,
Yeah.
welcome to game 2 of Crosshair. We are here with Sotoras versus Rizzards of Oz, a new team actually joining the scene. I am TSG for Gundam 7 Stars and joined by...
TM Craze, the captain of Gundam 7 Stars.
All right, interesting to see how these two teams will play out here. We know Sotoras pretty well from the past, making their comeback, but Rizzards of Oz, kind of wild card in this one. How do you think this will go, Craze?
I mean, it's 50-50, right? Right? Because Sotoris has put in a lot of work, but at the same time, since teams have brought it up in the server, not gonna go. I mean, there was a whole lot of stuff about it, but it's 50-50. Both teams have been working on their rosters really well, so we'll see how it pays off in today's match.
And we love to see 50-50s because this could go either way.
Now we're just waiting on the map bans here.
Yep, getting some map bands going here. Wondering what units we'll pick as well. Mostly familiar with Satorus' roster, however, I also am looking forward to seeing how Wizards of Oz does. Because we do have some namers there.
I am mainly familiar with Rizzard's roster as somebody who has previously competed in general tournaments. I've run into these guys a whole bunch, and from my personal experience, they can give you absolutely a lot of hell.
Yeah, so on. Okay. Looking at Missile Base getting that one out early. I guess neither team wants to deal with a Mahiru.
I mean, okay, I don't think a lot of teams like missile base in the first place. TSG.
That's a fair point. Quarry is the next ban.
Okay, now that one's actually legitimately interesting. Query being banned here. That a lot of teams tend to be pretty good on Query. So the fact that was that Rizzards ban?
Yes, that was Rizzards ban.
So okay, yeah. So the fact that Rizzards bans that, I don't know exactly what their game plan is here, but it is fairly interesting.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say Quarry is one of the least popular maps out there, and most teams tend to do pretty well. But that first choke, can be pretty hard to pull if you don't have a very aggressive, heavy comp.
It is pretty painful to try and get past the first choke. I will agree.
Canyon Base is the next to go.
No, no. I'm reading the chat and yeah, just turn me up just a little bit. It's no, 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 just me, and they want you to turn down TSG just a little. That's all it
Sorry
is.
about that, folks. Getting things hammered out here. Better,
Yeah,
better now than in the actual match.
exactly. Ministry and
Ministry,
Canyon.
that's fair.
I mean, both Ministry and Canyon. These are fair bans. I don't really think any team really likes either of these maps, honestly. Ministry is too melee favored. Canyon just kind of turns into like a brawl, which is not actually no problem. Which is not really indicative of how top tier play goes, right?
All
This is
right,
this is
just
old
waiting on the
team
next
1 versus team 2.
thermal plant.
I mean, okay. sh- I mean, you could say that, but the Sotoras Sotoras 2, despite having a new roster from what I've seen, they've been putting in a ton of work. And while Rizzards hasn't been faltering either, I do think Sotoras 2 has a pretty nice chance here.
I mean, both teams do have a pretty good chance here, just given experience and roster, like of not even just the players, but of the teams themselves, like as a whole.
Mhm. So we
But
got a thermal ban here.
thermal plant followed by lunar calm.
They just are we just playing Mount R&D as the only Dom map? Or are we doing this like how it was in what is it? I mean, I don't really want to go back to it too hard, but in our match as Gun and 7 Stars where we just banned all the domination maps. That would be another interesting set to not play a single domination map.
Well, sometimes that's how the cards go, and if you recognize that either your team or their team is strong or weak in some regard, you have to ban those early.
Mhm. It's just that, I do recognize even as the team captain, last set, there wasn't a whole lot of variety when it came to game modes, right?
And Mountain is the first pick coming from Sotoras here.
Side I mean, once they get to side picking, it doesn't really matter because there it's pretty even. Like there's not much of a side advantage here. The next pick though will be interesting because on a lot of the other maps that are like 2-point capture and bomb defusal, side advantage does matter. And if you're better at one side than the other, you do typically want to pick that.
And UCC from Rizzards here, so we are going to see some bombs being planted.
I want I wonder what side Sotoras is gonna pick against Rizzards here because since they don't have a lot of info on Rizzards, I wonder what they'll think that Rizzards' better side is.
There goes the Harbor, wanting to get that sniper heavy map out. That second choke can be a pain. And it's down to Colony or Flak. See
Two
what
very
Rizzards
strong maps.
bans
Two very
here.
strong maps, honestly. And if I may interject a little, both maps are really good for turn A. Ooh, okay.
Looks like we're taking it to flak.
Black for it, okay. So again, side pick doesn't matter for Mound here. What matters here is for UCC. What side does Sotoras pick? What side do they feel most
The Taurus
comfortable
on
on?
Mountain.
They feel comfortable on attack. That is interesting. Wasn't it Rizzards
Yes.
wasn't it Rizzards pick? Okay, I'm getting it wrong then. I'm generally familiar with the pick and ban system, not entirely. Just mainly when it comes to the sides.
A couple changes since last season too, so something to get used to.
Yeah, it is what it is.
We're seeing quite a bit of
Alright,
defense
on
from
to unit
Sotoras
ban.
here, 2 out of the 3 matches. And on to the unit bans.
It's interesting for me to see that Satorus feels what is it? Pretty comfortable on a defense for the decider map. I don't I'm not too sure how good Satorus's defense like really is when it comes to flag for it, but we'll see how that goes.
Well, speaking personally, defense seems to be the better way to go for like first round anyway, because you do get a feel for the comp, feel for the team, and on second round offense, which decides quite a bit more than your defense does, you can take advantage of the weaknesses that you've seen first round.
Mhm. But it's still it's still pretty bold to be starting off on defense though, right?
It is a bold move, but it can pay off. So knowing the rosters of Rizzards and Sotoris here, who do you think's the top bans?
What do you mean by that?
First map is Mountain, correct?
Yes. Oh wait. Oh no. Okay. What is this? I misheard you. I misheard you. So in my personal opinion, like I'd like to see Pale and Ashmore get knocked out here, but really honestly, it depends on the team what they wanna what what they feel is important in trying to counterpick the other team, right? To kind of go into the philosophy of like the unit bans of like the last set because that's already out there. You know, Barb? Okay.
First ban is Barb.
Okay, so Rizzards has chosen oh wait, no, Cassian. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Rizzards has chosen Barb. And then we'll see what Satoris wants to pick now. But again, just kind of going back into the little anecdote here, like what and what is it? Satoris has
And
chosen Dom.
Dom.
The Dom pick is actually pretty strong here. Barb, I feel is a little bit iffy, but I know a lot of teams, even mine, 7 stars, has a lot of trouble with Barb, so I understand getting rid of it on Mountain
And
Army,
Barb,
where it can get a lot of value here.
yes, Barb on Mountain does have quite a bit of verticality, especially around point B, where you can get taken off without even knowing it. So banning that one is, I wouldn't even just say targeted, but is quite a viable pick,
Yeah,
and that will
it's kind of just a
change up the
generalist
meta
ban,
here.
right? You kind of just pick it because you don't want to deal with Barb. Like it's totally understandable.
And of
And
course, Dom for the Nimbus on any of those points
and Dom also
can just
recently did,
completely
did did
overwhelm.
just get a buff as well.
It did. A lot of the units can now be 3-shot by direct hits, and while you're probably not going to land consistent direct hits, even that extra splash damage is going to be nice.
I mean, in general, extra damage and like lower ultimate threshold for Dom means a lot. It means Dom gets Nimbus a lot faster, which means more chances to turn team fights in an instant because of how Screaming Nimbus works.
But neither of these bands were turn A. I was thinking about that,
I
realizing that
we
even
we
after
might
the nerfs,
see we might see turn A on what is it here on Flagboard if we ever get to it. UCC we might not see it just only because the inside's not really conducive to turn A play, right? But we might see it there.
We all set?
But again, to kind of finish up my story, because all of these were happening kind of in a flash, right? Like when you're going up against a team, you kind of have to take into account their roster and who you kind of think their scariest like player is, and you kind of saw it in the Harbor game where my team banned Pale because of Yariella, but on the other side of extended warranty, they banned Sniper because of Tokyo Bunny. Just to kind of like cap off that little anecdote, we are now going straight into the match, and we will see these teams fight it out now.
All right, so we have Sotoras and Rizzards on Mountain R&D Game 1.
It kind of it kind of triggers a little bit of my OCD to see the different spacing for Sotoras and Rizzards, but it's such a minor thing. It just triggers me.
It's fine.
like, like I know I
have
really shouldn't be bringing it up, but it's just funny
both
for me to bring it up.
both teams running Susanoo here, recognizing that power, recognizing its sheer ability to just dish out damage and get out.
I think what's more interesting for me is to see the gun tank on Sotoras here. That
Well, we have
is a very bold
seen
pick.
Sylvia in action on
Yes,
that gun
but
tank.
yes, but like here, like especially on Mount R&D where gun tank doesn't really have a lot of impact. I mean, we'll see, but like if Sylvie's what is it?
Both Ashes battling in the sky
Genuinely
here,
surprises
taking
me, then it is
completely
what it
opposite ends.
is. Satora's wanting to go for the flank here to try and like funnel in here, but because Rizzards just takes the main kill there, they're just
The
able
kill
to
feed is blue.
yeah,
Not looking great.
they're just able to stop the push before it even starts. Xander not getting lit up there as he's just flying in the air. I mean, it's all blue, and one Sotoras member lives, but like Rizzards has full
Soccer.
domination of the A site right now.
Soccer looking for an opening here, trying to get his team together.
I think Soccer
Moving
has
in
to
here.
wait. There's not really a whole lot you can do right now because Rizzards, since Sotoras is low on manpower, will just flank around like this, and what are you gonna do about that then, right? Like look at this.
There's one. He's about to get two. Oh, but not quite.
Not quite. Arbalest gets the frag here, but now Sotoras is left to just reset and wait for their members to respawn.
Yeah, and at 15 seconds here,
A very
I think.
disjointed push happening from Sotoras, but now we're swapping over to B here really soon, and so we'll see how Sotoras recovers this.
Yeah, I would have expected to see a move in early here on B site, but it looks like we're still fighting on A. Just getting some picks, maybe some ult charge.
Wants to get rid of the Rizzards members ahead of time before they get into B in the first place, which is very interesting.
Because we do still have time to see some respawns if you get taken out too early, so it's important to have that timing down.
Here by Dizzy, and now Rizzards is just flooding into A side, making sure that Taurus never moves in. You can see the Hyperion, they're getting killed by the saws.
Artis here.
Like, so Taurus isn't really being left with a whole lot of options. It is kind of just suffocating for Sotoras to fight Rizzards right now.
Oh, Z2R getting two, but only managing one pick.
I mean, does it really matter when Sotoras is kind of like getting choked back into their spawn?
Yep, and here's Sotoras realizing, okay, center is not working. Let's try to get some high ground, go for the flank. Move in as a team, push them all out at once.
If anything, I'd really like
Here's the
to like
Transam.
yep. I'd really like for what is it, Sotoras to consider swapping over to A though. Because I think that's what Rizzards will do once they all die, right? Like they'll just start rotating over to A.
And we
Oh.
see Hades Saws coming out here just to hold. Now in 13 seconds, you are on the board, but that's 2 ults down.
Mm-hmm.
So despite the point difference here,
some nice impact here, just flying in as Ashmore, making sure that they don't push up. And really aware of Garma actually to be what is it? To be shooting Xander first instead of focusing on the people below, because on the inverse side you need to get rid of the Ashamar to make sure that your
Garma's
members
punch
also
going. He gets
focus on the
2
hill.
on that with living that. 88%, they really don't have much time. They have to move in here. They have to
No.
do something.
They have to absolutely
Here
start
comes the
staggering
core
now.
fighter.
You absolutely cannot like start grouping up. You need to go. Like this is the issue, right? Like look at this. So, Soccer starts to touch now with what is it? No, it's not his Trans Am. I thought it was. It was Dizzy's, but they're trying to stagger as best they can, but it's just not happening. There's too many Rizzards members on site, and it's just a full-on
There's the
wipe.
team wipe.
Yeah, yeah, Tony. We're aware that that's flipped. I mean, we're familiar enough with the rosters to just kind of like figure it out, like anyways. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, but earlier it was what is it?
Like, here
Yeah,
we have
what's
some damage values.
ooh, not even a single Sotoras member breaking 10K right now. This has got to be rough for these guys.
And Fire Spike having not died at all that round. Seeing him put in work
Oh,
with the
I
pail.
mean, I think the more impressive thing, look across the board on Rizzards. Like one death, one death, one death, one death, and at most 2 deaths from Castion. Like, oh my god. Meanwhile, if you look at
Nope.
Sotoras, 5 deaths, 4 deaths, 7 deaths, 5 deaths, 4 deaths, 4 deaths. Like, Sotoras has been dying a lot.
And it's part of that play style where you hope to get a trade, but if you're not getting that, you kind of have to reassess. Like if you're Sotoras here, what do you do?
I think you kind of have to start like grouping up more, start trying to like again, this isn't my personal opinion. Like Sotoras, does things differently, but in my personal opinion, you need to start grouping more and start trying to look for picks and stuff. You can see here
You ever seen
that they start swapping out for Mahiru and Exia, but because of how disjointed this whole push was, they're down. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Versus versus only
rezzed.
losing 1 member that gets revived anyways. Like,
Okay, we have 4 moving in here.
Soccer with a very aggressive Exia charge that gets instantly punished by Cobaltic. Fire Spike kills. Oh my god, it's going so fast. It's hard for me to keep up with the kill feed. Holy. Like,
Carda's more than holding this hallway here.
I think it's less Cardis and like more the team coordination from Rizzards in general, because while Cardis is taking the brunt of it, you can see with Rizzards, there's at least 2 others behind him ready to support him all the time, right?
And something that I've noticed from Rizzards here is that they group up quite a bit, especially when making a push. And Sylvie on that Mahi can get quite a bit of value.
But it's
With
not
10
getting
seconds
quite,
left,
it's not
we're
getting
seeing some
quite a
rotation here.
it's not getting quite the value you would hope for, only because like the way that Sotoras is grouping up in return is just indicative of them themselves also just getting like shanked, right? Whether that's from what is it, Susanoo or what is it, or any other of the Rizzards members. Like it's a rough sight to watch, honestly.
Okay, but we do see Sotoras have point advantage here. They're holding pretty well.
They do have the hill advantage, Ooh, Arbalest is dropping.
And Garma
That
gonna come in to hold this and say, "Get out of here!"
yeah.
to that core fighter.
Fire Spike's taking the 1v1 against Deathy, and of course since it's Pale Rider, like it's a, now this
Yeah,
is
the pale 1v1
oh poor
coming in
Arbalest.
with that assist.
Arbalest expecting the 1v1, but instead sees three Rizzards members, and now it's just a clean sweep. They get the reses on the down people too, and now I think they're just gonna start like trying to lock them into their spawn and just set up for the next site once it hits 15, or they could just brawl it out instead and just further reduce the numbers.
Yep, trying to get more points on the board here, but not quite enough.
Again, I would really like for Sotoras to consider like rotating at like 15 or 20 seconds. Like you do need to set up ahead of time on the next site, so
Yeah,
so
we're
that you
still
have
seeing
every advantage.
Sotoras
Yeah,
on the hill here.
so that you have every advantage as much as possible to get the site, right? Because taking hill on both A and C is very important actually.
Meanwhile, Rizzards Fire Spike here going up top of the hill to get that early advantage. Only 4 seconds left.
If Sotoras were to realize that Fire was alone, they could absolutely just just run him down, Xander getting a nice 2-piece here, but dies in the end. And oh, okay, Arbalest gets the res here.
And getting rezzed.
This is Soccer with the Trans Am
Or
here.
Trans Am Mahi. Oh, we
Trying
have
to
4
make-
ults coming out here. They really want this point.
I mean, they have to look at the percentage difference here, right? It's 80 to a current 25. Like, they need to get as much percentage on the board here. They
And while they
cannot
have secured against the entire team, suddenly ult economy is now not in their favor at all.
Okay, to be fair, it's not like Rizzards has that much ults either, because sure they have what is it,
They
Saws
still
and
have that pocket Hades.
yeah, sure they have Funnels and Hades, but look at the rest of the Rizzards, right? 61, 65, 60, 15, like they're pretty much on even keel. If I'd had to say anything.
Garo being a menace in the back lane here, almost getting away with it.
It's interesting to see what Soccer is going for as the Exia, because I'm not sure he's getting the full amount of impact he could be getting from the unit.
Cardis
Oh my god, why is
just
Cardis
chasing Xander.
the Ashmore?
Ashmar can become a very real problem if you
Yeah,
leave him to be in
yes,
this.
but, like,
Yeah,
it's
there he
a
goes
Saz.
again.
PSG, it's a Saws chasing the Ashmore, okay? Oh, that would have been a nice ult. That would have been a nice ult from Deathy there.
Cardis diving hill trying to take that space.
Oh my god.
There goes Xander. There goes
There
Sylvie.
goes Deathy. There goes
Deathy.
Arbalest. It's just pure blue once again.
Fire Spike with the triple Hades.
Despite Sotoras' best efforts to get to 50%, I think Rizzards just takes it 2-0 here on Mountain R&D.
Team kill only 5% left. I don't think they're going to make it to point in time no matter what they do.
No, not at all. It was a valiant effort from Sotoras. I'll give them that. They did make a much better effort on the second round here, but in the end, they did what they could, and in the end, Rizzards takes it 2-0 on Mountain R&D. It is
Fire Spike with the MVP clearly showing that pale prowess, especially with that triple Hades.
And the best thing about it too here is that this is what is it? Fire Spike's first time competing in a tournament at all as well.
That is true. We have seen quite a bit of gameplay from his streams, but this is his first actual tournament experience.
Reminder, folks, for those that don't know in chat, Fire Spike is also a content creator on YouTube. Makes some very good videos, if I had to say so myself. And to see him take MVP on the first map, very nice performance from him. We're
So
now
far
going
looking
on to the second map now, which is Underground Command Center. Maybe
on
this might look a little bit
UCC.
better compared to last time, but honestly, we'll just have to wait and see, right? Yeah. It's I mean, it happened, right? It happened.
So looking pretty good for Rizzards here, but Sotoras gonna have to be forced to adapt here on UCC. Less close quarters, more long range, especially on first point here. How do you do it?
Until waypoint, because once, what is it? Once the Taurus gets to waypoint, they're gonna have to switch up their comp, I think, a little bit, only because the building is so close quarters, right?
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about UCC here is that you have two completely different playstyles within the same map. You have the close hallways of inside once you actually go underground, but in order to even get there, you have to take that waypoint.
And
And
it's and
that's
it's a very and
easier
it's a
said than
very
done.
weird, ebb and flow with underground command center, because when you're starting off with underground command center, you do kinda wanna stack into double snipers to make sure you clear people off of waypoint and all the other funky positions that they can play outside. But once you start taking waypoint and start going into the inside building, you are at the snipers do need to switch off onto other units, maybe like a Mar or Sire or a Nu, so that like they have more close quarter prowess and can support the team better. Because for as good as Dynamis and Sniper are, they're really not that effective on the inside building.
And to further on that duality of playstyle of close range and long range, it comes down to unit picks too, right? Do
Mhm.
you ban sniper to hope that they don't even get to point, or do you ban something better for close range like Z2R, Exia, or even Saz? Saz diving on this map can be very powerful.
To be honest, I wouldn't really say Exia is like a really great pick for this map. I'd say the best units here to ban, if you're wanting to do something like a melee like or like a flanker, consider Zaku Range or Ashramar. Ashramar gets a ton of value on this map. Really easy.
We could also very well see a Susanoo ban because both teams have been running Sus.
And Susanoo, despite the nerfs, is still pretty goddamn strong.
So we have first ban on Dom.
And and this is a ban that just kind of makes sense in general, because this is one of the few maps where Dom Trooper is truly just like one of the strongest. There's enough open space for Dom Trooper to move around, but at the same time, there's enough cover for the Dom Trooper player to just peek out of cover, give an armor gun, and then just start pelting down rockets at range. This is truly one of Dom Trooper's most favored maps.
Outside of missile base, but we all know how that one went in the map bans.
and we all know how and we all know the opinions of most teams when it comes to missile base. Ac-
And
Actually, a ban
Exia.
from Rizzards.
So calling that,
So so soccer really was just causing Rizzards trouble on Mount R&D, huh?
I mean, when you consider that you're moving from point capture to bomb plant, having that stun on a team, especially if, you know, soccer mains Exia, that can be very scary. Like you have to take out, just like a barb, you have to take out the Exia before you can even plant or disarm.
See the difference is though is the difference in health pool and the fact that Exia is missing another stun comparatively to Barb. So if you wanted to take out a melee unit, I would have wanted you to take out Barb instead here. Because I think everybody in the community, well, everybody watching knows at this point now, like Barb gets like a ton of impact when you play him on on a bomb defusal map because he has those two stuns.
Equally as powerful.
Alrighty, and now we're going into I think here second second map.
Yep, UCC.
Alrighty, into UCC we go.
Mr. Just to see, we have Sylvie, Sucker, Alpha, Rosander, and Deathy about the same comp here. So no player switches on their
Nope.
side.
Oh, they switch. Who did they switch for Meal?
I
Garma. They
don't.
switched Garma. They switched Garma for
They
Meal.
switched Garma.
Interesting. Alrighty. And so now we have,
Going to see
let's
some unit
see,
picks here. Cashin once again going with the grandpa. Meal on Saws. I
Meal
did
and
mention
Saws.
Saws dive can be
Card is on his main over there on heavy arms. Fire Spike on Pale, Cabaltic on his main, Zaku range. And what will Dizzy pick?
we
On the
get to
flip
see
side,
Dizzy
we
here.
have Xander on Ash, Deathy on New, which is
I
which
guess
actually isn't that surprising. New actually gets a ton of impact here, actually. Arbalest, of course,
newer
on Pale.
Hyperion. No, Sakura's Hyperion.
Yeah, Sakura's Hyperion, Sylvie's on Guntank, and a curveball pick here. Garu Cabra on GM. I
And
don't
Dizzy
really
goes
I don't really think GM gets a ton of impact here, but we'll have to see how that works out, huh?
Dizzy goes sus.
He was on Susanoo last match. So that's not too surprising. I think the only surprising thing here is the swapping with Meal for Garma and Cardis on what is it? Heavy arms instead of saws.
And we see them holding waypoint here very far back. We've seen this type of play before, and it's always interesting to me.
It's a style of play that Mafty did nothing wrong has innovated, and I mean we'll see how Sotoras does it, but when Mafty does it, they do it with a lot of coordination and a lot of firepower, and see here's the issue, right? Is that like because you're playing so much on way, you just let the enemy team come at you for free, and then sure you have everybody there, but it's not
Bastion and Fire Spike.
as if both teams haven't taken heavy losses here, right?
Crossfiring that push, getting a lot of value while Mio holds. Soccer trying to move in, was in good position, but just gets lit up way too quickly.
There's a ton of reses happening here, which is kind of the problem with the stuff. Oh wow,
Garu and
that was a
Soccer
good
moving
shot
in.
by Garu. Oh my god, that completely opens up waypoint here, and I think no, Dizzy comes in here as what is it, Susanoo, and just completely like
And wipes.
yep, and just completely lights up the Sotoras members for his team to just come in and clean them up. Oh my god.
Good defense here. I'd say you really have to take out Castion and Fire Spike. They've been getting a lot of value on those flanks just by holding that position across.
And
Because
now
while your focus is on the shield units, you're just being lit up.
it's time to reset and try again. Xander has had okay positioning as Ashamar here, but I would like for Xander to try and like be more impactful here as the oh my god, Xander, you need to be with your team here because that Molotov gives you a lot of space that is just not being taken right now by Sotoras.
Garu's ult getting denied there
Completely
too.
lit up. Even Xander dies as he tries to escape. It's just
Getting
not
stunned
happening.
and cleaned. We have
At
Fire
this
Spike,
point-
Castion, and Dizzy all with ults.
At this point,
And
at this point, if you're Sotoras, you have to consider unit switches now, don't you?
clearly something isn't working here. You kind of have to reassess, you know, make sure who's our biggest problem, who's getting taken out first, like who do we prioritize? And right at the
here
moment, that
comes
seems to be
Super
Dizzy.
Oh my, that Super Napalm was actually pretty good for zoning. Oh my god. Every time Sotoras tries to take away, Rizzards is just there to take it. Oh, and finally they get
Yeah,
waypoint.
they are taking some space here.
They've
HP's
taken
too
a
low to
ton,
hold
actually.
this.
Cardis, everybody on Rizzards is forced to fall back here.
And
Because I don't know
they've
if you
secured way.
saw Dizzy. He was under a quarter there. which
A
was
lot
very
of them
scary
were.
to watch.
They had to fall back. But the good thing about that was none of them really died. I think the
No.
only one that did was Castion.
And speaking of dying, Meal gets Sylvie, Cashin gets Xander.
Cardis
is
trying
coming
to
in
ult
here as-
there.
Harvey, what? Soccer! Oh my god! You just see the heavy arms just run past the Hyperion. Oh my god. Despite being pushed back into A site, Rizzards is taking it right back.
Here we see
I think
Hades
I
come
probably
out.
timed Hades ult here.
There's one.
Because yeah, while he may get one, you just pop ults in return and get. No, Xander, that would have been something nice, but Rizzards is still up in man count because look at this, four players dead
Ice
on
spike.
Sotoras' side, while who's only died once on Rizzards, just Meal, and that's just the tank, so that doesn't really matter a whole lot. Holy. For as much as Sotoras did well and tried their best, they only managed to get to waypoint and that was it. A much better attempt, I will say, but holy, that
We
was
saw quite a few good pushes from Sotoras there, but Rizzard's defense was just too strong.
the level of coordination is. I mean, from both of these teams is actually really good, but it just seems that Rizzard's coordination is a lot better comparatively to Sotoras's.
We have damage numbers popping up here. Seeing Cardis getting 13,000.
Comparatively to last
Only
match
bested by Fire Spike.
before second half on Mount R&D, Arbalest has broken 10,000 damage. Like I know that's just a small thing to highlight, but when every member of Sotoras 2 on Mount R&D didn't break 10k, you had to take those small victories, you know?
And Arbalest switching to Sniper here, going off of Pale.
Really dicey pick here, honestly.
And that's
Especially-
the thing
especially
about
since they only have
Sniper.
15
It's a
seconds
high
on
risk,
bomb
high
timer.
reward.
Like, especially since they only have 15 seconds on bomb timer, the moment Arbalest dies, he needs to swap off to Pale.
And while Rizzards does still have the Saws, it's now in Cardis' hands. And Emil is taking up.
Soccer on turn A. I had kind of considered turn A to be a decent pick on this map, but again, the moment you go inside the building, turn A's ult becomes useless.
The thing that I worry about here is that Meal has now gone with the hook here on Marasai, and the only answer they have to that is Garu.
And from my experience playing with and against Meal, he plays a lot of Marasai, and his hooks are very scary to go up against. You can see Sotoras here going for, what is it? The same type of map they hold here, but their positions are a little bit more exposed, and what is it? Rizzards is spreading out a little bit more. Garu is swinging very wide out to his right here.
Trying to take some space, playing to those walls. Cardis in front, his shield's down. That's pretty big for Sotoras here. If they can
But Rizzards
get that
just
Saws out.
stepped onto sight. What is happening here, Sotoras? Holy wow! Sotoras gets 3, and it's just
3, there's 4, there's 5.
and it's the same thing we've seen from Rizzards. They just hold onto waypoint really well despite the enemy team taking it. I don't know if it's a lack of coordination from Rizzards or if it's just Sotoras winning their 1v1s, but Sotoras manages to fend off for now, and now Rizzards has to reset.
This waypoint hold is very important, and you have to play that to all costs, because the longer you stall, the better chance you have. And with only 25% needed on that first bomb, it's not going to be hard.
25% or 15 seconds, like it's not that long, guys. Here we go. Here's the reattempt. 1, 2. Oh my god. Okay, so 2 for 1. They're still up in trades. Cardis is really low. Does he?
They're up in trades, but they're down in HP.
Fire Spike dies. What is happening? Both teams' defenses have been absolutely solid. It's like a brick wall. Oh, but because Sotoras is overextending here, they
It'll
just
be
get
Deathy going
massively
down.
punished. Oh my god.
Garu about to go down. There he goes. Xander, the only one left. And with almost 2.5 minutes here to get 25%. Looks like they're coming around from the left here to see that flank with the
And
Z2R.
now they're inside of the building and trying. No, they're probably faking for B here.
Definitely zoning with
They're
this
trying to
ult.
go for A, and Sotoras takes the bait. Sotoras took the bait heavily.
Soccer stopping that plant though.
A, a really weird placement for GM's ult there, but it could work out. Cardis and
He does
Neil on
catch
top
retreats
here.
there.
But the A plan just goes off because there's not enough Sotoras members to stop it.
They were 3-0. We have 2 ults coming out here. Mars
And
Hades.
I'm sorry, folks, but it's kind of Jover.
Only 3 seconds left. That's going to be game.
It's kind of Jover.
And we have Rizzards going 2-0.
Honestly, not unexpected, but I did think that Sotoras 2 would have put up more of a fight here, and they did. They did for like the first 2 minutes of underground here.
We did see some really solid defense from Sotoras, especially considering the last match they had going 0-2. That that really brings down your mental, but they held strong.
They really did. So overall, TSG, what was your thoughts on the 2 games we played today?
I say that's a really solid showing from Rizzards, putting on some very solid first showings here.
I think in my opinion, I think it was just very dominant. Satoris had some really good showings as well, but Rizzard's just really showing they're the better team here, and that some of the collective experience of their members, they're just really shining through on how they approached team fights, and how they won their 1v1s.
And it almost makes you wonder, like, if the unit bans had been different, if they had been more targeted to like specific players, could that have gone differently? Because both unit bans were pretty good, but we saw both teams really got held up on Way.
I mean that's kind of it with all the bomb destruction maps too. Though, was that you need to fight for way, because if you don't fight for way, the the time it takes to get to the bomb is so long. It's so impossibly long to get to the bomb, and it's just you're never doing anything. Well, I mean, it was a short one. It was short but sweet. But you know what? I had some fun. Wouldn't you say the same as well, TSG?
Yeah, short but fun, and we got to see a lot of good plays from both teams here. Excited to see where next match takes us, and further in the bracket, how Rizzards and both Sotoras are gonna fight against the other teams, because no two teams play it the same.
Hmm.
But that's gonna wrap it up for us here. I have been TSG,
And I have been TM Craze.
and we'll see you next match.
Don't know why you left me bleeding. With a broken heart, tell me if I deserve this.